Hey everybody, welcome back to another 3D Thursday. I'm Noe Ruiz, a designer here, and joining me every week is Pedro Ruiz, my brother. What's up, man?
What's up, everybody? I'm Pedro Ruiz, the creative technologist here at Adafruit, and every week we come to bring you 3D printing projects featuring electronics from Adafruit.
That's right. This is the show where we combine 3D printing and DIY electronics to come up with a weekly project to inspire you guys to get into 3D printing and DIY electronics. Pedro, tell me what's on the show today.
That's right. Every week we have a lovely assortment of segments. We start off every week with What Are You Prototyping, which is sort of behind the scenes of some upcoming projects for future episodes.
That's right. And then we'll take a look at layer by layer.
That's right. Every week we take a look at some of the methodologies that go into modeling a lot of the CAD techniques that we use in all of our projects.
Okay. Then we'll take a look at some Q&A.
That's right. You guys have questions. We have answers. You guys can leave questions in any of the videos that we make every week, and we'll just bundle them up and answer them.
This week we're answering them. 3D news.
That's right. Every week we scour the net for interesting stories happening in the world of 3D printing and share them with you.
That's right. And then last, we'll leave you guys off with the weekly video.
That's right. Every week we have an awesome 3D printing video featuring electronics from Adafruit. This week we take a pretty cool, exclusive interview with some of the guys at See Me CNC and take a look at their big, ginormous Delta 3D printer, custom made for none other than Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice? I think so. See Me VIP. That's today's coupon code. It gets you 10% off your order. So if you want to pick up some goods, some Adafruit electronics, or some 3D printing accessories, check it out. See Me VIP.
That's right. 10% off. Use See Me VIP during checkout. Expires at 11:59 p.m. tonight. It doesn't work on software or gift certificates,
but it works on everything else. All right, folks, let's jump right into this week's prototyping segment. And man, it is this sword, a wooden sword. You showed us this last week, but this week it is stained and it looks gorgeous, man. Tell me a little bit about some of the stuff you've been doing with wood.
Yeah, so over the weekend we did some cool staining techniques on here. Very cool Instagram person we follow came up with a really cool way to stain it. We'll link the profile in the description.
Sure, I think his name is Kyle. Yeah, he put together the Trellis MIDI controller, the Mini Oons, and he did some finishing techniques as well using woodFill, I believe. Some sort of wooden. But this one's actually bamboo fill, which is a lot rigid than the other stuff that we've messed with. But tell me a little bit about the finishing. This is, what is it called, a multi-layer?
Yeah, so he didn't do what we did here. What we're actually attempting to do here is the multi-layer sort of staining that is pretty popular with a lot of the woodworkers. So we have like a darker walnut undertone with some like red that's coming through, and then we finished it off with some like, it's like a lighter green, sort of like a driftwood type of look that you see in a lot of the sort of weathered antique sort of look. So a lot of sanding that went on here, a couple different grits. Of course, we're going to have a full episode on all the techniques on how to achieve this.
Sure.
Just wanted to show off, cool.
The final look, yeah.
Quick little preview of what it'll look like. Over the weekend, we went over to shoot all the B-roll for the sword episode.
Yeah.
So we were at the Murakami Museum, and of course, we had to make the costume that goes along with this. So of course, my son Gavin, like 1.5 years old, did the modeling for this project. Because it's like 95 degrees out, it's really hot out here. We couldn't, go with the standard shirt. So we had to, make one out of a tank top. Yeah. Did some dyeing to get the great, the correct green on here. Okay. And this is just some felt that, you can cut out and then sew onto the felt and then onto the shirt. So cool little, sort of had to channel our inner Becky Stearns to, come up with this project. Pretty proud of it,
Yeah, it's very cool.
Probably something Becky probably wouldn't stitch it this way, but it's very simple. It's like about an hour or something to do. So very simple, little just cutting things out in the the felt, and then just sewing it on.
I like the lengths of detail you went to get this just right, to get the B-roll looking really good.
And of course,
making the sword and finishing it and sanding it and painting it wasn't enough. Yeah. You had to make the shirt too.
And of course, working with children is incredibly hard, especially when, they want to take the sword and use it like a bat.
Yeah, or break it, it's very...
So, and of course we had to customize the outfit based on, how hot it is in Florida. All the people that, as we mentioned before, we went to Murakami. It was a Japanese anime sort of festival. So everybody that was dressed up was sweating bullets. Of course, we'll have a full episode on some of the cool B-roll
we got
shots
some good shots. Yeah.
So really
Met
cool
some great
little,
too.
A lot of cool projects there. Of course, we'll come up with the sword video sometime next month or this month. And then the wood polishing. Yeah, there's a lot of episodes already in the pipeline.
Sure. So anything we work on now, we'll probably see it in next month. But this is a different project. This is what I worked on over the weekend. This is a collaboration with Phil B and Mohr. Okay, so there's the battery, and this is a very cool micro servo and a trinket to make an animatronic tail.
Oh,
so this is pretty cool. Yeah, let's take a look at the other cam so you can see it in its all entirety there. So there it is. It's an enclosure and a clip, a little belt clip, so you can clip it in the back of your belt there. And there's a little custom attachment for the micro servo, so that it attaches to a little piece of zip tie. You can barely see it, which is the whole point, right? And the thing is that it's ideally you want to have this type of battery.
Use like a AAA battery holder. You can use like a JST extension, so you can put this into your pocket. This is just for testing. When you go to a convention, you might not have a charger with you, but of course there's going to be like, AAAs like at a Walgreens or something you can quickly pick up.
Plus it has a built-in on and off switch, so you can turn it off that way. So very, very cool project, very compact. And I think it's a really universal project that doesn't have to be a tail. It can be maybe ears or whiskers or wings. A lot of different things. Phil B did an amazing job on the sketch for this. It basically acts a lot like a pendulum, and he wrote it in a way where you can change a couple values so that it changes the momentum of it. So if you have a longer tail, you change that value to a bigger one, and it'll make it go faster so that it sways much better. So that's a really cool approach to making it customizable for your sort of project. So. Phil B's working on that. It is in the works, and very cool collaboration using 3D printing to make the little mounts there.
And you already mentioned what's inside here.
It's a micro servo and a trinket. We're actually going to take a look at that for our layer by layer segment. We're going to take a look at all the CAD and all the parts in just a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the way this is modular. So you have like a different type of belt. When it has a little split down the middle, you can just take this off and switch it out for a different type of sort of clipping mechanism. So let's actually go ahead and jump into this week's layer by layer and find out how you built the enclosure for this.
So the first thing you want to do is definitely model like the main component. In this case, we haven't really modeled a micro servo yet, so this was a good opportunity to do that. So I put that together, and I'm also using sketches to create the mounting holes. So the servo has two mounting holes on the side there. And what's cool about using sketches is you can reuse them instead of cutting it out like you would with another object. You can just reuse your sketches. So that's what I'm using there. So I think that's a really good approach. Also made a sketch for the opening of the servo itself so that it has an opening there and a little bit of clearance. But let's take a look at all the shapes. It is composed of 4 different parts. We got a cover, the frame, the back cover, and then the little clip area. So let's start off with the front face here. You can see that there are the mounting holes, but there's also standoffs so that the cover is sort of flush with the rest of the micro servo there. You can see how it kind of has a recessed thing in there. So that's what that does. And then the second component is right below the micro servo, there is a trinket. And it looks a little bit different, but in the bottom of the trinket, you'll see that there's a little box there. That is actually the JST connector. So the point here is that you can have the JST connector right on the outside so that you can plug in your battery and get to it easy. And then you have the USB port so that you can reprogram it. So yeah, that's why we have a nice little thing there. And there's some standoffs on the bottom there, so the two screws will fasten it. And then take a look at this. There's a little standoff here in the bottom of the frame, and that connects to the back cover here. And the back cover has a lip, and that just snaps into place there. Same thing with the cover. It has a lip as well. That also snaps into that. So you can see how the standoffs elevate the little mounting tabs for the servo. And in the back here, we got the clip. Clip is pretty straightforward, but take a look at this little piece here. I made this little piece so that it would snap into that little opening there of the cover. And I did that so that when you fasten a screw into the little tab opening there, it will keep it in place and it won't sort of rotate and jostle around. So that's that's what we're doing there. So that's a cool, simple way to make it so it doesn't, rotate around and stays in place. So that's a little cool way. That's pretty much the whole thing. One other thing I wanted to show you though, let's move this back out open, is take a look at the lip here. See how I have a cutout open there? That cutout is there so that it doesn't get in the way of the standoff. See how the standoff is flush with the bottom there? That's so that I can print it that way. I don't need any support material when you can design it that way. So that's a pretty cool approach to make it, so you sort of design it for FDM printing. And then that thing that I selected is where that prints, and then this is where the surface, the bottom prints there. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go ahead and upload this to Thingiverse so you guys can check it out. And use it in your projects. You can reuse the sketches or even reuse the components because they're all sized and prototype. So yeah, it's a pretty cool project. Definitely check it out. We'll have it up on the Adafruit Learning System as long as with Phil B's tutorial. So it's in the works. It's coming out. It's like pretty good, yeah?
Yeah, the thing I like about this project is definitely like a base beginner for like all sorts of different projects.
Sure,
I think a couple weeks ago we showed someone who made like some servo ears, so you could definitely take some of the sketches and start building out your own sort of masks and little armor things to
Sure, if you're making an R2D2 or R6, same thing, you could use the same approach. So pretty cool.
Yeah, and for everybody wondering, this is product ID 169 for the micro server.
That's right, if you want to pick it up.
You can get 10% off.
Yeah.
Use code CMEVIP. Again, expires tonight at 11:59 p.m. Doesn't work on software or gift certificates.
Okay, with the layer by layer out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into news. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the first? Actually, before news, let's do Q&A because I got it queued up here, so we're going to do Q&A. Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. So the first question is from Trey. This is on the custom keycaps video. How many printers do you have in total, and what is your favorite one? And is this in your house or in the Adafruit factory? Yeah, sure. We have a total of 9 3D printers. We have one DLP SLA, and the rest of them are pretty much Cartesian. We have one Delta bot, and the rest are Cartesian, but most of them are FDM printers. As far as what our favorite one is, that's sort of a hard one to answer because we really don't have a favorite one. They're all different. They all have their different strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, every project is different. So say, we need like NinjaFlex printing. Not all of them can print NinjaFlex. Say we need like ABS. Not all of them have like a heated enclosed bed. So some are easier to print with others, and some can do dual.
Some have a longer XYZ, but maybe the Z isn't as big as the X and Y.
Some
like
has
the
a
Delta
higher
bot.
resolution on the Z, like the CMC Orion has really high quality on the Z.
Yeah.
And then when you talk about like overall ginormous build, like Type A machine, of course it's not heated yet. So if we needed something big, we'd have to like switch over to like the Lulz bot. If we needed like a big ABS part, or if we needed a medium part, we could go with like the Orion.
It reminds me a lot like camera lenses. You don't have one lens that can do everything. We're constantly switching our lenses to get the right
There's
shot.
no way we could do our show with just one lens. Yeah, we use like I think the same thing, about 8 different lenses. We got a 50 mil, we got a 70 to 24 or 24 to 70.
All specialized in their own right. So maybe we should go back and say, well, more of a general purpose, what one that kind of can do it all a little bit. I would probably say the PrinterBot Plus, just because of the price point, the build volume, and the design of it. It's pretty simple enough. No pun intended, to get most of your projects. It does work with PLA mostly, but
you can get a heated bed
upgrade, yeah. And there's also NinjaFlex specific
extruder
mount, which we have yet to test, but that's a really good one too. So
yeah, if you're looking for, I guess, price, ability to print, upgradability, ease of modifications, probably the PrinterBot, the Simple Metal or the Plus. And if you just need to go all out ginormous, probably a Type A. If you want like a small footprint, they could, you're doing like medium-sized prints, you might do ABS, PLA, the Orion.
Yeah, the Orion's a good one too.
And of course, you need to do like high-detailed, resin-based prints.
Then get the Ember.
The Ember from Autodesk. So yeah. Oh, and the last question. Nope, this we're in our living room right now.
Yeah, this is our living room.
We visited the factory. It's really cool, but no, we do all this in It's a nice, moderately big size house. So
yeah, sure.
We have enough room in here.
If you guys would like to see a tour of our setup and stuff, let us know. We'll put together a video for you. That might be a cool one. Okay.
Cool. Next up.
Yeah, so the next one is how much smaller do you typically make the inner diameter of the hole to be threaded? This is on the 3D printed standoffs video. I'm working with 440 screws and the diameter is about 2.8 millimeters. Do you go with 2.6 or less? This is a really good question, very, very specific. I would say go with 2.6 and 2.4. You want to try both of them out. Try printing them out at the same time. Make a specific little test rig so that you can test the both and see. Because a lot of the time, you do want it a little bit tighter, but it is dependent on your printer, your nozzle, your shell count, quite a few things there. So just sort of test them all out and see. Most of the time, when we're doing iterations, it is definitely 0.1 millimeter change. We just keep. It's a lot like when you're leveling the Z probe on your printer bot. You reduce it by 0.1 millimeters, and you do the same with your prototypes and standoffs.
Yeah, and again, just like you said in the standoff video too, don't print your entire enclosure out.
Yeah, just print the piece.
Chop out a little piece that you need that it's going to have the screws and the little holder and standoffs on it.
Yeah.
Test that first, make sure everything fits, then go off with printing your full size.
Cool. Okay, next up. This one is on the Super Game Pi video. Why didn't you plug the display directly on the Pi? Okay, yeah, so this one was, this is using that screen that has an FPC connector, and that really isn't compatible with HDMI, so what you need is a display driver, and that's what's in there. In the project, we use the Adafruit display driver to make the FPC connector convert over to the HDMI. So in a way, it is plugged to the HDMI port on the
just
Pi,
through an adapter.
but it's through the driver. So it kind of is, kind of isn't. But that's the reason why, because the FPC ribbon is like 40 little pins. It's not. There's no connector for it. You need an actual driver to do it. So that's why it's an extra little board there. But it fits in the project. Cool.
Next up.
Yep. Next up, this one is from Jamie Towns on, again, Super Game Pi. Can you make a portable PSX Pi? Yeah, I think you totally can. Did Lamar do this?
Yeah, would recommend subscribing to the channel. Lamar has actually done this a couple of months ago when the Pi 2 came out.
That's right. Yeah, that was like her first thing that she wanted to test. Can I get Crash Bandicoot working on it? And she totally did. We just haven't put the emulator in the build, but you totally could run it on this project.
Yeah.
Instead of putting a Pi A Plus in there, though, you can modify it to work with it too. So yeah, definitely straightforward. All the STLs and 123DX files are available, so you can download it. And I think there's even some tutorials that we've made that go through how to adjust things for you, like how to convert a 2 into an A+. You could use that and make it.
Yeah, definitely check learn.adafruit.com and search for the Super Game Pi project.
Cool. All right, next up. This one's on the 3D printed soundboard project. Do you think we could actually edit the code to make our button presses and then constantly plays or sample over and over until we press the button again? Or would we require toggle switches? This is the really cool thing about the Audio FX soundboard. It's got different modes, trigger modes, built into it. So you got latch, you got loop, you got loop replete. There's quite a few different ones. Definitely check out the guide on that one and on the soundboard, because that one tells you all the modes that you can use, and you don't need a special trigger or button. It'll work as a latch or momentary. So you just got to specify that in the code. So that's pretty cool.
Again, check learn.adafruit.com. I think it's in the prerequisite section.
Prerequisite, yeah.
It'll jump you over to, I guess, the whole guide about the sound effects board and all of the different modes that you can go into and how to call up all the commands for that.
Exactly. Okay, next up. This is from Adian. Adian's so cool. He's the one that does all the squishy robots. He comes on the show and tell a lot. Very, very cool. He's asking, can you please discuss making snap fit parts in 123D? We need to do this. We got quite a few things planned. This one's definitely going in the list. A lot of the time, snap fit snap fit together parts are really dependent on tolerances, orientation, and quite a few other things. So we'll figure out a good way to sort of lump all that in and try to come up with as many points and tips that we've come across, because it's still one of those things where like, yeah, you can snap fit, but maybe you want to use the screw instead. You know, it's really
we can use it in
on-
conjunction with.
Yeah,
the problem with the snap together parts now is that they do wear over time.
Over time, man.
And they
a lot
won't
of our
stay
first
calm.
projects were just snap fit, no screw, snap fit, no screw. Over time, it's just that piece just pops off and just pops off.
Especially with PLA, it'll wear out a lot more quickly.
Yeah.
So we still do it, snap together, but we also add now the screws on there as well.
Yeah, but we'll go into more details over in the time. So thanks, Adian, for that question. Very good one.
Definitely on the list.
All right, next up. This one is on the 3D printed custom keycaps video. What software did you use to make your own supports? This one, we actually went in depth on the Ember review video that we put together. You went into a lot of detail on how to get your tip diameter right and different orientations. Basically, Mesh Mixer, Autodesk Mesh Mixer, that's where we make our own supports, yeah?
Yeah, so there's actually two. You can use Mesh Mixer specifically for this project.
Yeah, for the
and
Ember.
then for the Ember.
Printer.
And definitely, again, check out learn.adafruit.com. There's always a ton more numbers, details, like screenshots of where all the options are on the side panel.
That's right.
So definitely check that out for how I built all the supports inside there and how you want to build them so that
you want manifold support structures. So we go over that and how to prevent like sort of
especially
weird
for the key
collapse.
stem, you want to lay them out in a certain way so that when it's printing, it doesn't print in the air actually.
But you'll be happy to know Autodesk Mesh Mixer is free. It's for you to try. So you can, well, it's free. You don't buy it.
And again, you can also check out the Gunblade Hangouts video. That one also goes into a lot of depth in using Simplify 3D to create your custom supports.
Okay, yeah.
So
That's
there's
for TM,
two different ways to create them. And then you can also create them right inside of your favorite CAD app, like 123D. You just make supports inside there too.
Okay, cool. Hope that answers your question. Next one. We got a lot of questions this time. This one is on the Bluefruit Easy Key product video. Can this device work with the joystick? Yeah, it totally can. We put together a quick arcade controller using the Easy Bluefruit Key when we first got one. And you totally can. It just uses micro switches, so 4 wires that get wired up to the GPIO on the Easy Key. So it works really well, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely makes a very awesome arcade controller.
Retro game pad.
Yeah, this is Bluetooth, like you said. Definitely check out the guide.
We got a bunch of joysticks in the shop and the arcade buttons. This is all Adafruit stuff here, so you can check those out.
You can get ones that light up, ones that latch. There's a ton of different options. You can completely customize your custom.
Get your mashing on, your button mashing on. Okay, next up. Oh, this one's cool. This was on the Touch Pi. How do you type? He's probably referring to how do you type on the machine. Well, we got this very cool miniature full-size keyboard. Miniature full-size keyboard. It has arrows. I consider it a full-size keyboard if it has all the F keys and all the arrows and stuff. I think it's full-size. It's very small. Yeah, and it also has the trackpad. It's using a USB Wi-Fi dongle. Not Wi-Fi dongle. It's just wireless dongle. So that's in there. A very cool, very miniature, just great for a bunch of Raspberry Pi projects. We tend to use it a lot too, and it also has a flashlight and other things.
It's a little laser pointer.
A laser pointer.
So it's pretty good for presentations to use as little advanced.
It's a great little handy all-around keyboard. We got it on the Adafruit shop. You can get 10% discount with the coupon code.
Yeah, charges through USB. Very cool. Awesome little accessory to get for any Pi.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's how we type on it. We use that keyboard. Okay, that's going to be it for the questions, folks. Thank you guys for asking them. And if you want us to answer your questions, all you have to do is drop them in the YouTube comments, and we'll gather them up over the weeks and answer them live here.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Again, if you wanted to get any of the products that we talked about, you can get 10% off. Use the discount code CMeVIP.
That's right. It's good until 11:59 p.m. and it's going to work on all the stuff that are made out of bits and atoms. So fortunately, it does not work with software and gift certificates.
All right, with that, let's go ahead and jump into this week's news.
Okay, 1 second, folks, while I cue that up. We're going to go into the news. This is a cool one. This is an update from our friend Michael Curry. He's saying, what's up? So Michael Curry put this project together and shared it on Thingiverse, and it's up on his blog. This is basically Thunderchild. This is a warship from the awesome novel from H.G. Wells, War of the Worlds.
Yeah, so this was modeled up inside of SketchUp. It's about 200 millimeters long. He used the maximum size that you can get on the Formlabs printer.
Yeah, this thing is massive.
So this is like from corner to corner, you know, most massive that you could fit on there. Very high detailed. He used a ton of plugins inside of SketchUp to actually produce all the curvatures that are inside.
Like 3 or so different plugins, third-party plugins to get the curvatures and stuff. But that's very cool. I like it a lot, and it's a good use of a SLA 3D printer like the Formlabs.
Yeah, I love the way that the lattice support structures are built on side of Preform. It's very cool the way.
Preform, here we go.
Yeah, I've tried doing the support structures like this inside of Ember. Never could get it to work, but this looks phenomenal the way that this comes out. Looks like he was printing it at maybe 200 microns just to speed things up.
Yeah, from the look of it, I thought it was an FDM printer first, just because you can see like the lines and stuff. But it's SLA. Yeah, SLA print.
And it says, based on the screenshot there, it took about 5 hours. We all know how that is with pre-calculating.
It's probably 8 hours.
Maybe around 8 hours.
Yeah.
But very cool model nonetheless. Love the paint job that he's doing on that, and I think he's doing a little bit more details on it.
Yeah. If you want more of a breakdown of how he put it together, and even where you can download it, check it out. It's on the description below. There's a link for you in the description below. It's on his blog and on Thingiverse. Cool. Very awesome work, Michael Curry.
Next up, we have very cool post-processing technique.
Grassman. This is very cool. Tell me who put this together?
Yeah, so this is designed by Ven Alice Watt, a 3-people design agency inside the Netherlands in Eindhoven.
Sorry about that.
So we're getting into a lot of, we're starting to like the post-processing stuff with the bronze and copper fill, now with the wood staining.
Yeah.
We've seen this actually, I think iMaterialize did this for a little bit, where they would fuzzy-lize.
Fuzzy eyes. Is that a word?
Yeah, to make things fuzzy.
So what is the fuzzy stuff? Tell me about that.
So he's using scenery grass. It's what they use to make like the grass on like a train set or like little miniature models and things. So what he's using is the scene cement and then adding the scene grass all over it. So he's coating it, or after sanding it down, adding like a primer to it. He adds the scene cement, and then he sprinkles on a little bit of the grass on there.
Looks like it'd be a little bit messy, so definitely if you're doing this, you need a container and a workspace.
All the post-processing stuff seems to be a little messy.
Looks like he put it together in
Blender,
which is pretty cool. And I think we definitely want to do this with Adabot. I mean, this is what he would look like without, kind of boring and naked. And then when you look at the final of it, man, super fuzzy.
Completely cover up any of the 3D sort of lines that go along with the resolution.
You can't say that, that's 3D printed. It's just like, whoa.
It looks like a little plushie, yeah. So it's definitely a technique we want to try. You guys have seen it like... you guys have seen the plush version of Adabot.
Oh, yeah.
It looks very, cuddly. Well, definitely the look we'd love to get, on our 3D prints. So very awesome technique on using scenery grass to get a nice fuzzy look. Bet you could use other types of materials too. Yeah. But definitely check out the blog and the Thingiverse for more higher
res.
Higher res. Pictures.
It's a high res photo. It's just weird. It's blurry. We know it's blurry. See, that's higher res. Anyway, very cool project. Definitely check that out. Okay, what's next, Pedro?
Next up, we got a melted Darth Vader mask.
Oh my God, everybody saw this trailer when it came out over the weekend, I think it was. And I remember seeing the scene where he was like, where he's like, my father has it, and then like shows the melted Vader mask. I was like, dude, it's gonna take like a day until for someone to make this, and it literally took a day.
All you need now is one frame.
One frame.
Or all you need to do is see it really. Yeah. For like one frame, and if you have a photographic memory, you can just recreate almost anything physical.
That's right.
Digitally, and then print it out.
So Francisco over at My Mini Factory modeled this one, put it together, but I think someone else printed it and put it up on Thingiverse. So it's in both places. You can get them both. And it's credited so that you can find out who really made it. Francisco, good job. It was put together in ZBrush, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very awesome, quick modeling of something that was released, just a couple days ago.
Yeah,
We probably started working on this within minutes of seeing the trailer.
Yeah, man. 3D printing, making it super duper fast.
Next up, we got a very awesome breakable pot playset that would go perfectly with upcoming project.
Yeah.
With the Link's wooden sword.
Yeah, this is cool. So one of the coolest things, of course, is when you're playing Zelda is to get those pots and to smash them and take your treasure, right? So that's what this dude did. He made it so that you can, keep breaking the pot, get your jewel, and then he's using magnets, so it just,
snaps back
together. Here's a slow-mo of it running. Pretty cool.
Yeah, this is very awesome, prop that would, complete your cosplay of Link.
Yeah, I think so. It's up on Thingiverse. I think he painted it as well. Mm-hmm. So pretty easy project, but I just like the concept that you can break it and put it together again. Very simple, very simple. Okay. Next up,
we have more.
Which one?
Oh, James Bruton.
Oh, okay. Next up, we got an update from James Bruton. Last week, he got the R6 Droid running, operating, remote controlled. This week, he's doing some details on the head. So he's figuring out what sort of parts he needs for the head and dabbling in some electronics and lighting things up.
Yeah, that's right. We
sent
over James a couple of NeoPixel rings and some NeoPixel strips. We sent up the high density 144 NeoPixels. We sent some little trinkets too.
Sure.
And he's putting all those together. You can skip towards there. And what he's going to be using the rings on is the hollow. What is it?
The periscope for the eye and the head.
Yeah.
Basically.
And cool little grid assortment there for the NeoPixels. What we really like is that a very thorough explanation of how the NeoPixels work, and he jumps into some of the code that Phil B put together, and goes through how all of the how he defines all of the functions inside NeoPixels, what they're capable of. Really like his thorough explanation of the code that's actually making all this work.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's a good look at his loop and seeing how he has everything laid out.
Very cool modeling techniques here on making the projector that goes on the left side of the eye. It's being controlled by little micro servos and has a little cool little diffuser in there for the NeoPixel rings.
Okay.
And then he's using a what was it again? A split ring so that the head can rotate with all the wiring on the inside.
Wiring. Okay.
And if we jump ahead to our hero shots, you can see the strip that he cut in the little pieces to make the little grid there on the left side, and of course the awesome projector that houses the NeoPixel ring.
Very cool. Yeah. So you can check out James Bruton, and he's got I think 2 projects a week, one every Friday and Tuesday. So check that out if you haven't already. James Bruton on YouTube. Very, very cool.
Yeah, and all the files are available to download for free, so definitely check out his website.
Yeah, he's got his Arduino sketch and all the CAD files. This is every week there's a new update, so be sure to watch him.
Yeah, very cool. Can't wait to see all of the electronics all put in there and all working. Looks like it's 99% there already. He's going to keep it as an open frame robot, so you can see all the electronic goodies on the inside. Very cool project. Definitely subscribe to that.
Yeah, if you want to pick up some electrical gizmo whiz doodads, you can use 10%. You can get the code CBVIP, get 10% off your order.
That's right.
Help me out, Pedro.
It only works on atoms, doesn't work on gift certificates or software.
Okay. I think that's going to be it for this show. We're going to leave you guys off with the weekly video. But until next week, keep on printing. We'll be here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. All right. We'll leave you guys, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, this is the Vanilla Ice Project VIP printer. It was John Oley and JJ and Andy back at our shop. It's a pretty sweet project. I'm going to let John tell you more about it and the details. But we all had a great time building this machine. It's pretty incredible.
A couple years ago at the Bay Area Maker Fair, I met up with a guy named Richard Serez who runs Out of the Box Mods. It's a computer mod company. We set up a couple printers for him to use in some of the trade shows that he puts on. And earlier this winter, he got a hold of me and said that he was doing the Vanilla Ice project and down here in Florida and wanted a printer that they needed customized to have a 15-inch diameter, 36-inch tall print volume with the heated bed so they could do all of the different materials. And so that was, took about 30 minutes to go back and forth and get all the details with him, and we just said, sure, we'll build a big printer for you. So yeah, JJ did all the design work, Andy did the assembly work on it, and we all got it calibrated and printing here. So this is actually its only third print ever. So it's loosely based on our Rostock Max V2 kits that we sell, which is also just like our Orion Deltas that you can find on Adafruit's website. But this one here has a 15-inch diameter, like I said, 36-inch tall, heated bed. The bottom, if you can see it in the video, I'm not sure, it's pretty tall, but there's going to be a custom NVIDIA computer, all liquid cooled with cooling towers running up the outside. So it's going to be pretty tricked out when it's all done. So one of the first things Richard's going to do with it is we've got a couple prints that we're doing for the Vanilla Ice project, Season 5 house here in Florida. There's some props that they're going to use for the, they're building a big media center into the house. So he's got some turtle shells and things going along with the Ninja Turtles theme. There's some feet and some other parts and pieces here and there that they're going to be printing with this one as well as the Orions. And after this, it's got a couple LAN parties that he's going to ship it around the country to. Some computer modding conventions, some cosplay events, lots of talk of Stormtrooper helmets being printed. So yeah, there's all kinds of things that they're in the works getting ready to print on it.
Okay, so this is a really big one. Probably not something you want to sell in the shop, but maybe something more smaller, maybe more affordable. Are there any plans? We saw something at CES. Maybe you guys want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we showed off a couple of prototype machines on the Eris. The Eris is a 5-inch diameter by 6-inch tall build volume Delta printer that we're making, and its MSRP is right around $599. So it's a much more affordable, compact printer that's made to be portable and take it with you wherever you want to go.
So yeah, anything without a heated bed. So there's the PET filaments. There's a lot of the new materials coming out, like the flexibles, carbon fibers, the metal-filled PLA-based materials. So pretty much, and it does have a small 5-inch round build area, so you can get away with some ABS prints on it. But our community is pretty amazing, so I would imagine it won't take them long to have some hacks for heated beds to add on to it. So it'd be pretty much the same functionality as this big, huge printer here, just in something that you can grab the handle on the top, throw it in the car, head off to college, head off to the shop, head off to work. We're about 3 weeks away from heading out for our road trip to Maker Faire Bay Area, so you can come and see us there in San Mateo, just south of San Francisco. After that, we'll probably head over to Kansas City Maker Faire, as well as Detroit and New York. We do a lot of little regional Maker Fairs around the Midwest also, Chicago and Fort Wayne. Grand Rapids, Michigan is a up-and-coming, pretty good Maker Faire. But you can always check us out at cmecnc.com or check us out on Facebook, Twitter, G+.
There you have it, the VIP printer. Very, very awesome, tall, custom built from the guys at CMecnc. All right, guys, we'll see you guys next time.